Well, welcome to the Bike Racing Without Mercy training vlog. Happy New Year. Today, I'm on another Ed Laverack endurance training session with the usual Ed Laverack spice, as he would say. More of that in just a second. Also, over the next couple of months within the vlog, I want to kind of develop a little fat loss, sustainable fat loss, healthy lifestyle series, because I know many of you will be looking to shed a few pounds after Christmas. And this is not going to be about diets, big reductions in calories, or sudden huge increases in the amount of exercise. Because, in my opinion, slow and steady always prevails. If you cut the calories too fast, too quickly, you slow the metabolism, life becomes unenjoyable, and it isn't sustainable. It leaves you nowhere to go when the fat loss plateaus. Equally, too much exercise too soon will leave you fatigued and run down, and again, it isn't sustainable. Here's the first little spicy effort from Ed. I've just done 15 minutes, lower zone 3, 220 watts, preceded by some single leg drills. And now we have 30 minutes, again 220 watts, but every 2 minutes there's a 60-second sprint at 400 watts. Now down to 220. This is the hard bit, the transition. So as I say, slow and steady prevails. Cutting the calories too quickly, too soon, too much exercise too soon is counterproductive. It will leave you nowhere to go when the fat loss stalls. Life will become unenjoyable, and it will impair your recovery and ultimately your athletic performance. It will likely also disrupt your sleep, which is integral to recovery. For me, fat loss or improved body composition is all about creating a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. One that works for you personally. And for this reason, it's not about high protein, high fat, ketogenic versus high carb, low fat, paleo versus vegan versus pescatarian, or even intermittent fasting. It's what works for you personally. You need to experiment and find something you enjoy, and there'll be evidence on the internet in support of all of those lifestyles. Here we go, 5 seconds away from the second 400. Trying to do these seated, keep the cadence high. I'll show you the choices I make personally and explain why I make them. And hopefully you'll see that I enjoy them, but I always remain open to refining how I do things. So here's the pre-workout supplementation. We could call this meal number 1, although I don't really treat it as a meal. It's the Phil Richards Amino Work Capacity. It contains all 20 amino acids, including the 11 that the body can't produce itself. You have to get 11 of the amino acids
from your diet, including the branched chain amino acids. It includes leucine, which is integral for energy production. Ooh, sorry, there's a nice scoop there. Oh, we've got to get that bit out. Integral for energy production, but also helping muscle repair, and during the training, reducing how much the muscle breaks down. And so that's a good thing. Therefore, I always have that. One scoop delivers the correct ratios of the amino acids to do exactly that. Normally I'd mix in the TNT cold coffee to that because I'd be in a rush, but today I've got a day off work. Therefore, just going with a nice leisurely warm coffee. Cheers. Now, in terms of calories, nothing in the coffee. I've had it black, no sugar. Although I am going to experiment with something in vlogs to come. In terms of the amino acids, stuff is being ingested. The amino acids are the building blocks for protein. The supplement companies do not have to say exactly how many calories are in there. I don't bother counting them, so I'm not going to put any of the macros up on the screen. Safe to say, obviously I've got a fulsome profile of the amino acids themselves, which you would otherwise get from a protein shake, which would have, you know, probably 100 calories per 20 gram serving of protein shake. And I now present to you meal number 1, the post-exercise, post-ride recovery nutrition, the Mark 1. It doesn't really deviate, and that's why I produced a little vlog on this subject just ahead of Christmas. The link is attached. But as always, we have the protein shake, low fat, low carb, with the hippie milk to deliver about 30 grams of protein and amino acids to help therefore repair the muscles a little bit stronger and more powerfully than before the training began. Well, fingers crossed for that. A greens drink from Phil Richards, the Ultimate Greens, because greens are good for general health.
It's about making some smart choices around food, sometimes food substitutions, portion control, tidying up the diet a bit, being conscious of what we're eating and drinking. And by making some smart choices, that would allow a few indulgences also. With consciousness on mind, it's worth recapping about macronutrients, protein, carbs and fat. Number 5. Now, so protein and carbs both have 4 calories per gram. Fat has 9. Now, fatty things taste good, but there's an opportunity cost for eating a lot of fat, in my opinion, for the cyclist. You may work very well on a higher fat diet. I prefer higher carb, lower fat, moderate protein. So by being aware of what we're putting in our mouth, the caloric content, the macronutrients, we're better able to make smart decisions. Decisions being the point.
And then we move on to the carbohydrates. Back to that in a second. One small change actually that I have made since posting that little vlog is that I have my vitamin C supplement and also this fruit and a load of other fruit a little bit later on in the day when I'm not ingesting carbohydrates, because a number of you said in the comments that by having the vitamin C alongside the carbs, it impairs the uptake of the vitamin C. So there you go. Thank you very much for that tip. Now turning to the carbs, second, I see this as a smart choice. The M&S Ice Spice bun, 85 grams per bun, 52 grams of carbs and just 4.6 grams of fat. Now if you compare that to this lemon loaf and you were to have an 85 gram serving, that would get you roughly 45 grams of carbohydrates and a whopping 15 grams of fat. Even these cookies, which are not too bad, you need 3 of them to get you towards 50 grams of carbs and you get 12 grams of fat in all of that. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of making smart choices. But I do love the cereal, or indeed the bread post-ride. I like to keep it really low fat, and you can see here the fats are very low, just 2 grams of fat per 100 grams or per 100 gram serving. I won't have quite 100 grams. What does a 50 gram serving look like? This is quite difficult. This cup will basically show you what a 50 gram serving looks like. i.e. not very much there. And that 50 grams gives you 32 grams of carbohydrates, and alongside this ice spice bun, you're going to get another 52 grams of carbs. So that's good replenishment there, circa 80 odd grams. The body can handle that. So the first course, second course, and indeed third course have been ingested. Now time for my favourite part. Today, the M&S ice spice bun. And immediately post-exercise is the perfect time to indulge a little bit, certainly with low-fat, high-carb, kind of sugary treat like this. The body has been depleted during the exercise, including from glycogen stores, and therefore a fast-digesting sugary carb is going to get to the muscles nice and quick. It'll also get to the brain and liver to replenish stores there. So this is the perfect time to have a little indulgence. 1,100 milligrams of vitamin C to boost the immune system, help the process of recovery. Also another nice serving of water here. Lunch to come in about an hour. Now, as we work our way towards a fat loss objective and improved body composition, slow but steady wins the race. Therefore, for me personally, the initial phase should all be about just tidying up the diet a little bit and being mindful of some of the treats that we may consume that are a little bit more dense in calories, typically because they're kind of higher in fat and sugars than maybe other food types. So chocolate is one of my Achilles heels, but I also love these panettones. No doubt some of you may like the cheese or other kinds of treats around there. It's not a question of denial, it's a question of just being mindful of when you're consuming them and how much you're consuming, but also making smart choices around other meals to allow a little bit of leeway to invest in some calories elsewhere. Thus, with moderate exercise or an appropriate level of exercise for your own program and your own objectives, you can create a small caloric deficit of 300 to 400 calories per day. Therefore, on the deck for lunch, we've got this baguette, loads of carbs in that, low fat source of protein through the tuna, sweet corn, again, another great source of carbohydrates, delivers some vitamins and minerals, not as good as a green vegetable. I've also got these beetroot, which again are a superfood. Instead of butter, I'm using Hellmann's light mayonnaise, just 40 calories per serving there. And for dessert, well, one of these, a smooth caramel snack jack rice cake, just 51 calories, 11 grams of carbs, i.e. no fat. Very filling these, you can eat 3, 4 and feel very, very satisfied. But I'm also gonna have a nice cheeky little bit of chocolate. I've worked my way through the top. I think this one looks pretty good. Probably about 100 calories. But around about 4:45, 4:30, I start to feel a little bit peckish. One of the things I always do straight off is take down a pink lady. Well, here's my tea, a breaded cod fillet and plenty of veg, and a slightly lower calorie ketchup. Now, the breaded cod fillet actually has 366 calories in it, and that's quite a lot. But if you look at the bottom here, you'll see it hasn't cooked quite as well there. And I'm going to take the bottom off just to make a small calorie save. I should also say that I don't normally count the calories and the macros. It's something I did used to do during my bodybuilding days, but I kind of dropped it because it became a little bit obsessive, shall we say. However, if you're new to body composition and wanting to make a change and reduce a little bit of body fat for the first time, it can be quite a useful thing to do using MyFitnessPal or that kind of thing. But for the purpose of just this one vlog, I've been counting up the macros over the course of the day. I'll convert that into an Excel spreadsheet. Now, for me personally, I do tend to get the munchies a little bit more in the evening. Therefore, I allow myself a little leeway in terms of what I eat earlier on in the day to relax a tad later on. I've got a sweet tooth, but dark chocolate tends to kind of satiate the sweet tooth, and this will be super nice. And that was definitely worth scraping the bottom of the breaded fish off to have. Anyway, super good. 10
the final 400 watt sprint to come. So join me over the next couple of months. Let's find a lifestyle, an eating plan, a regime of fitness that works for us individually. And let's enjoy a slow and steady progression towards lower body fat and better body composition. And hopefully more power on the bike.
Well, it's just gone 10 p.m. and this is my final meal of the day. I like to have a little meal just before bed, a little bit of protein, slow digesting protein to keep feeding amino acids to repair muscle damage at night, plus a few carbohydrates just to calm the nervous system down and prepare the body for sleep. Others, well, you may prefer not to eat 2, 3, 4 hours before going to bed, and that's absolutely fine either which way. So long as you've got your calories in versus calories out under control, it won't make a jot of difference in my experience to your weight loss. So on the deck right now, we have the Arla protein yogurt, 20 grams of protein in that. And then onto that, add about 75 grams of blueberries. Maybe a few more. There we go. Then I'll have 3 of these rice cakes, again, very low fat, a little bit of fiber in these, with about a tablespoon of peanut butter. So turning to the macronutrients up on the screen will be a lot better than trying to look at my rough old piece of paper. The protein came in at 136 grams, 4 calories per gram, so that's 544 calories, 20% of the total for the day. The carbs, much, much higher, which is as I intended, 381 grams, 4 calories per gram, so that's 1,524 calories, or 57% of the total. The fats make up the difference, 68 grams, 9 calories a gram, they are more expensive, and that's 612 calories, or 23% of the total. So there's a few savings I could maybe make in fats in the future if I wanted to kind of trim the waistline a little bit more, as I may do as we head deeper into the new year. But for the time being, this is probably not a bad place to be because you don't want to lose too much body fat too early on. So the final point I just want to make is that against my base calories, if I was sedentary, of 2,000, net of the exercise, I'm at 1,800 or so. So I've created a very small caloric deficit against that. But what really matters is the calorie deficit you create over a longer period of time, e.g. a week or more. Therefore, I can't always be burning off 895 calories plus whatever else gets burnt off after the training, day in, day out. I would literally run myself into the ground. So as we get deeper into the fat loss program, we have to be aware of the fact that we need to create a caloric deficit over the week, including rest days where you're less active and maybe consuming a little bit less, but still consuming enough to help the body recover appropriately in order to keep that fat loss ticking over.
That's a thick end of 10 minutes at circa 400 watts, plus loads of tempo. Much easier day tomorrow. And then a rest day. Well, I hope you found the full day of eating useful, i.e. the calories consumed, what I'm consuming, and all the macronutrients. Remember, this is for me personally, it's what works in terms of what I enjoy nutrition-wise, what I respond well to training-wise, and is individual to my age, my height, my body weight, and my metabolism. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do. In the meantime, whoever you are and whatever you do, please remember to live, thrive, and stay healthy.